Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
The Bachelorette
and friends.
From first love to happy ever after.
What's that?
From dating to dick pics.
Oh my.
Oh no! The Bachelorette and friends. Oh, I love a good dick.
This podcast contains sexual references, coarse language, and adult themes from the beginning and throughout. It is not recommended for listeners under the age of 15.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Bachelorette and Friends. I'm Carla Anita Matiazzo, and to my left is the gorgeous Lainey Jamieson. What's up, Lainey?
Hello, Carla girl.
Today's guest is Callan Fleming. He is the owner and operator at Callan Fleming Moreish Arts. He studied Bachelor of Dance Performance at TAFE. Wow, Callan, welcome to the fucking show.
Hello.
G'day. How we doing?
Yeah, good. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling absolutely chipper.
Chipper. Love it so much. So, Callan, let's tell the audience how we met. Can you replay that from your lens for me?
Well, this morning it was a frantic phone call and me running late. But in the first time we ever met, it was me, I believe, strutting. I'm going to use the term strutting up the driveway at Carrickalinga Hill for a photo shoot. And there was this vision in a shiny dress, and there was me getting basically butt naked and changing in front of everyone into a giant orange foam carrot suit, and proceeding to frolic amongst the gardens at the Carrick estate for this photo shoot for the advertiser, which, was an absolute blast. And we hid in the bushes, we played catchy, we played, we had a great time. I tried to do some cartwheels. That was an absolute failure, but that was part of the joy.
And there's, I've actually got the front cover of the advertiser photo framed on my desk of all of us. It's great.
I see you.
Yeah, it's right in front of Lainey. And you're
amazing.
On top of Geordie's shoulders.
Oh, what a vision of a man.
It's beautiful, I must say.
He picked me up with one hand. I was like, I've never felt like a small child in my whole life. And in that moment, I was 7 again.
You were 7 all over again. You and Geordie, definitely, your packages were available for everybody to see on that shoot.
I mean, look, I have worked as a postman before, so that makes sense.
And
Mostly it was just delivering junk mail. It's just one of those kids like with a shopping trolley, just like putting magazines in people's newsletter boxes, things that they just did not want.
I love junk mail, I must say.
What are they called?
What?
Anyway, letterbox, yes.
Letterbox. I was like, what? Where are we going with this?
That was very difficult.
And when we were doing the 6 and 0, there was definitely everyone's parts in each other's faces.
We were close. We were
very close.
Comfortable. No, we were making it work, which is what the arts is all about. You make it work.
Yes, you do.
That's a big part of it.
You do.
Like, if you could just stand there, but not there. You're like, sure.
And be in a position, hold it for 10 seconds. That's really uncomfortable and not achievable. Yeah.
If you could just put both of your craniums in the same spot That would be good.
backwards, but back bend and support each other with your heads. Can we do that?
That actually happened.
Yes,
That was
it
you
did.
and, that was Monsky?
Yes.
You and Monsky
yes.
who had to do that?
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
contorting yourselves into these just incredible shapes.
Yeah, which
And,
was
And
interesting.
the
And then we
Latina
swapped
group,
around
the
a
Follies
bit.
with the huge.
I loved her
it was-
costume. Hers was
Whoa.
outstanding. It was beautiful.
Pink feathers.
Yeah, the pink feathers. Yeah. And she's gorgeous. She's such a sweetheart too. Everybody actually was quite fun. 90% of us were quite fun.
Ooh, is she going to job in the 10% that weren't? This is the question.
Okay,
You know what?
so
I tried my hardest to be fun. You know, it's just really
oh,
hard.
dude, you were a fucking hoot. You were a fucking hoot. You like that thing? So, okay, for the listeners at home, Callan in his carrot suit hid behind a bush, right? That was probably about pelvis height. And then all of a sudden you'd pop up, look both sides, look confused, and then run off. It was fucking hilarious. It was so funny. It was so fucking funny.
I think
I
I've still
cannot
got that
stress
video.
that enough. What? I've got that video too.
I've got some stuff, but you know, because obviously after that we went into the Fringe season,
Yes.
and that was just chaos. You know,
Yeah,
you put me in
right.
that carrot suit in front of a giant crowd of 1,000 people every night, and I'm like, I feel so energized, and I just run off into the distance and like go and get donuts.
Yeah. And
Just
then
like,
there's
boom, you know, off he goes.
there's a photo that I actually shared today of us at the Fringe after one of your shows, and you were presenting your buttocks to me, and I look quite pleased.
You know what?
Very pleased.
I'm not surprised. They're pretty good buttocks. They're pretty good. You know, it's that ballet training, just really holding
Yes.
the butt up.
Yeah, it does. Nice
Despite the
perky
end of my
butt.
20s, it's like still there. It's like just
Yeah.
hanging on for dear
Yeah,
life.
it's there. It's nice and perky. Good shape too, Callan. You've
This
done
is
a
why
good
we do
job.
Waterfall Gully, you know. You do the Waterfall Gully hike, so you get the perky butt. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for all of you people looking for a good butt. Waterfall Gully hike.
the trick.
Get around it. Get around it. So to
Don't
bring
go on a
the
Sunday. It's so busy. It's so
it's
busy.
fucking terrible. Yeah, no. Yeah. Fucking terrible. So to bring the listeners up to speed, this podcast is based on the premise of my award-winning cabaret show, The Bachelorette, There's Always the Catch, where I talk and sing about first love to what I thought was happy ever after and everything in between. And I mean everything. Okay, so let's start there, Callan.
Quite revealing.
What, the show or the way that I
Yeah,
said
just-
everything just then?
Just everything. Yeah. Where are we starting? Very beginning.
We are starting at first crush with you, sir.
Oh my God, first crush. Man, this is something I haven't thought about for a millennia. It was a lass at primary school. So I went to a very small primary school out in the inner north, a place called Nailsworth.
Right.
And so there was about 30 of us, this cohort who were all the same age. So we had this year group that just went through every single year for 7 years. We were just like this little unit. And I distinctly remember in like year 1 or 2 playing Kiss Chasey. And I was like,
Yes. Kiss
I'm going to
Chasey.
get caught by her. You know? And I was like, I'm going to get caught. You know, so that's like the first time I was like, you know, actively involved in being manipulative, basically. No, in recognizing that I like had an interest beyond just playing with toys, with people, you know. And then, you know, first kiss came in, I think, year 5 or something like that.
Cute.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, there's all the buildings, all this kind of stuff, and there was this like outbuilding that was like a sheltered, hidden from the teachers. You know, all the cool kids went there to
Yeah.
hang out and, you know, spray deodorant on the walls and set on fire. You know, just stupid stuff. You
Yeah.
know, like kick a ball against a wall. You know, like we're kids, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, correct.
and being like, ooh, having a little
Where
kissy
first kiss
kissy.
took place.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, my first kiss was at the side of a building in high school in year 8. Yeah, there's something about you got to hide behind the buildings to make that happen. Yeah, so you don't get caught.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fear that goes into it of being like, oh
So Callan's making a really charming face right now at the screen.
yeah. There's this element of fear that goes into it, and like, it's naughty because you're meant to be 30 centimeters apart with the opposite sex because.
Yeah, did you have that rule? We did too.
We're talking
we had a
like
ruler.
Oh, wow.
Well, we're talking like 20 something years ago, before people were like, oh yeah, gay people, so
Yeah.
this is like, back when everyone was still like, no, boys and girls, and that's it.
Yes.
So yeah, there was like a 30 centimeter rule.
Yeah, we had teachers
never made sense.
with rulers come around and measure how far away we were. But if I was sitting with one of my girlfriends at school, I could touch her, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it was only like you were saying, opposite sex.
fine.
We got to be with a ruler, make sure you're 30 centimeters apart. Yeah.
I'm
High school
genuinely
and primary
shocked.
school. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never heard
I mean,
of
look, that's what they said, but I went to public schools. There was no enforcement of that.
No.
Teachers are just like,
we had
"Go
it.
for it." It's like,
fucking had it.
whatever.
I went to a Catholic high school. We fucking had it.
Oh, wow.
I'm really sorry to hear that, by the way.
I didn't abide by it, obviously.
Everyone just creeping around being like, it's 20 centimeters now.
So what happened to your first crush after you made out behind the shed where you weren't allowed? What happened from there?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh,
And I was like, I was just so amped to have kissed someone. I was just like,
Yes, I did it.
yes. And then, we're still in the same class and we stayed friends and it was all fine. It was like, I think because we'd all been doing the same stuff for so long already, there was it never felt weird. It was just kind of like it happened. And then it was like a couple of weeks of everyone being like, oh, like little secret squirrels everywhere around the whatever, what do you call it? School.
Yes.
And then everything went back to kind of normal, basically.
Okay, so from there,
I think is incredibly fortunate. I don't think that's everyone.
yeah, I think that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
No, nobody's hearts got stomped on, so that's nice.
No, I don't carry any deep trauma.
Oh, good. Oh, good. He says as he clutches his chest.
He just clutches his chest, just going, "Oh my god."
Okay, so from there, what was your first serious relationship as a teenager? Like, I feel like teenage relationships are training wheels for the future. Did you have any training wheel relationships?
Yes. Yes. So my first engagement into like the serious world of dating was with a lass named Jasmine.
Right.
So cute. And, we're in I think year 9. I'm in the performing arts stream at Charles Campbell. So there's this group of us, we're all
you went
doing
to Charles
together. And so we're like
right
in the same home group, we're doing dancey stuff and we're in close contact all the time. And we got partnered up for a lot of acting stuff. That's the official term. And drama class.
Yes.
And then one thing led to another, and we started hanging out more and spending all of our recess and lunch together and all this kind of stuff. And that developed into what would, I guess, be known as a relationship. And we dated for 6+ months, and it all came crashing down. And as it does,
yes,
I think.
as it does as a teenager.
Like 13, we're like And at the end of it, we were both just like, this is devastating. This is awful. And that went very badly.
Sure.
So that was a very bad ending.
Well, that's because of hormones, being a teenager, brain's not developed yet. People don't respond in an effective, appropriate manner. Yeah.
And we were just so mean to each other. And looking back on it, it was just, when it was on, it was great, and we had great chemistry, and we laughed a lot, and it was, really fun. And then, there were the challenges involved in spending that much time with someone.
Yes.
You don't know how to actually negotiate your space with someone. Yep. And so then we would just get really angry at each other and have these massive fights, and just, it was very, very tumultuous. And then I finally was like, that's it. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Fuck you. Giving the thing just like a little petulant child who hasn't really got an understanding of how to control their own emotions, was quite mean about that. And then she was obviously quite mean back. So, that was, and then we spoke again every single day because we were still at the same school together. You just have to get on with it.
Shit, isn't it?
And it was awful. But yeah, we definitely were not friends after that.
Correct.
We kind of became friendly by the time we were in like year 12. So this is like from year 9 to year 12.
Oh, that's lucky. Because
4
I had
years of just like looking at each other from across the hallway being like,
fuck you, man.
Like that full, just like good, the bad and the ugly vibes. Like just,
I can relate to that so much, Callan. In year 11 was my longest relationship, training wheels relationship. And we broke up for various reasons. And then, just like you said, he was a fucking prick, and I gave it back as well. And then because we were in drama together in year 12, we had to deal with each other. Thank fuck our characters had nothing to do with each other in scenes, so we were never on stage together. But oh my God, did he rally with his, mates and shit to make my life fucking miserable. So it's tough. It's good that you guys had more time to come out of it. And look, as an adult, he's apologized for that, and we've built a bridge, and now we're like amicable and there's no issues. Fucking hell, it is intense, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is magnanimous of you.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Nasty.
The benevolent God Carla just comes down and goes, I forgive you.
I think I'm too easy to forgive. I think as I've gotten older, I've learned it's okay to forgive but not let that person back in. Just because I've forgiven them, it doesn't mean that I'm going to let my boundaries blur and have... So I wouldn't say I hold a grudge these days, but I'm definitely like, yes, I've forgiven you, I've let it go, but you need to stay the fuck out of my life. Like I just...
Yeah, I accept your apology. Now please leave.
Yes, yeah. I accept, but fuck off. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, in the words of the great diva, Ariana Grande.
Yes, in which I use at the end of my show. Yeah, very good. Very good, Callan. Very good link in. You're all over it.
You're welcome.
So, do you believe in happy ever after? We've had some very interesting responses from guests about what their take on happy ever after is. And apparently some people say you can only be dead to have happy ever after because you don't know if it's happy ever after until you're dead. I
mean, that's a bit macabre, but let's go straight to death. Yeah.
Let's go to death. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that topic?
I think that happily ever after is not a destination, it's a journey. I think that if you want to build something with someone that is an ongoing voluntary choice, it means that you reinvest every time that there's a choice to be made, that you actively reinvest in that choice. And that is happily ever after. And even if that doesn't last forever, that's not even what I'm talking about. But it's like that is the way that you get there. And so I think it's a moving target. I think happily ever after is a moving target.
I love that.
That's a really good answer.
I fucking love that
So do
answer.
I, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Well done, Callan. Well done.
Nice work.
Excellent.
Doing a lot of dance.
I'm dancing in my chair. Got it right. Nailed it. I passed the test.
The shoulders going. I love it.
So
Yeah.
before I forget about this, you said that you went to Charles Campbell.
Yes.
When did you graduate? Because my director went there too.
Don't call me out like this. This very young man talking today graduated in 2000 and something.
Okay. So do you know Vince Fusco?
Very early. Yeah, I know Vince Fusco.
Yeah, okay. So he directed the show.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Yes, he was a year or two above me.
Great. Gotcha. Excellent. Such a small bloody world Adelaide is.
Sure is.
Isn't it? He was because we used to do a musical as part of our every year, and so he was John Travolta from Greece.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
He played the lead. He was like, "Hey," singing all the songs. We did some weird shit at that high school, and it was really fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah. So if you want to do performing arts, go there.
I think it's changed a little bit now though.
Don't go there. I take it all back.
I used to teach there. It's like
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's some good stuff going on, but I don't think it possibly is what it was when you and Vince were there.
Yeah, I mean, how could it be?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How could it be? So, Callan, let's go on a tangent. We fucking love tangents on this podcast. So, how did you get, obviously you did performing arts at high school. So what brought you to dance at TAFE? Like, what was that journey?
This is a good one. So my whole life I'd been like, I'm going to be an actor. I love acting. Acting's for champions, and I'm a champion. So that was like, that's what propelled me to go to Charles Campbell, because I was living in Prospect. I was catching 3 buses every day there and back, so that I could do that. That was what I wanted, and I was doing singing and acting and dancing, because dancing is just good, and it's good to have a skill.
Yes.
And then while I was at Charles Campbell, I was invited to do some extracurricular activity with a group called Fresh Bread. So Fresh Bread was basically connecting young dancers, like high school aged dancers, and independent choreographers from the contemporary dance sector, and making shows together. And so this introduced me to the world of dance theater, or other people call it physical theater. And I was like, holy shit, I get to use scripts, I get to be an actor, and I get to dance all at the same time, doing really weird stuff. I'm in. And basically from that point that's when the tipping point kind of changed, where I got more and more into the dance side of everything. Was from about then. And so I did that a number of times. That happened like once a year. So I did that a few times. And then when it came time to graduate high school, I was like, I was an egotistical little 16-year-old. And I was like, I got a 19 out of 20 for drama. I got like a perfect score on my theater performance for year 12. And I was like, well, I don't need to do that anymore. And so I applied to do dance instead, because I was like, well, I need to get better at dancing, because in my esteemed father's words, I was a giraffe on roller skates. And so I thought maybe I could focus my attention on getting a lot better than that.
So supportive. Well done, Dad.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, no, they absolutely were. They were like, do you want to maybe apply for things in case this fails? Like, do you want to do something else? And I was like, no, I'm going to do dance this year, or I'll take a gap year. And that's what ended up happening.
Brilliant.
Well done, you.
Yeah,
That's
thank you. I'm a man and I want to dance. And they're like,
and I love
yeah,
that.
great, come on in. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, brilliant. And I think that is so fantastic, Callan, that you stuck to your guns. That's something I wish I did more when I was younger. I wish I wasn't swayed into the backup plan as well as doing what I'm passionate and I really love, because I feel like the backup plan has taken away so much time, energy and space that should have been used for what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, look, because I did that, but for year 12. So my family, we had some world-ending fights when I was going from year 11 to year 12 about what I would do in my final year for, like, uni entrance stuff. And my family were adamant that I would choose, not quite the 5, but like pretty close to, so the maths, science, chem, physics, maths,
Vomit.
to English, into English English rich subjects. I know it's changed a lot now, but that was the model back then.
It's still pushed now, Callan. It's still pushed.
We had some epic fights about that, and I didn't hold my ground, and so I did concede on that, and so I ended up doing these subjects that long term have actually been really, really beneficial, but it made me even more certain that when I finished, I did not want to go to uni and do something that I wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
So that made it me very clear, and so that was very useful.
That's good.
Having those fights with my parents was actually really useful, I think, for giving me clarity on what I wanted.
Yeah, brilliant. That's amazing. That's a great spin on it.
Your inner voice and still following your path, even though you had this sort of discouraging and deflecting and wanting you to move in a different direction.
Yeah, I think they were just, it wasn't even that they were discouraging, they were just, I think, a bit afraid.
Correct.
And that is completely reasonable. Turns out, after having tried to have a career now in dance. But it's like, they just wanted the best, quote unquote, for me. But at the same time, I needed to explore that. And that was just part of what I needed as part of the fulfillment of me as a growing, dynamic person.
Yes, which is brilliant, which is good. So let's get back on topic, shall we? So in the show, we talk about catches, and one of my catches. Bolt poses. Pardon?
Yeah. I was just doing my Usain Bolt pose.
Yeah, I saw it. It's beautiful.
Let the listeners know.
Yeah. Please let them know. As soon as you do something physical, make sure you give subtitles to it, Callan.
Will do.
So we talk about catches in the show, and there's a list that I go through, and then I tell a story, blah, blah, blah. One of my catches, and I've mentioned this in other episodes, podcast episodes, the catch for other people in relationships with me as an adult, the repeated complaint that I've had is my toilet paper consumption issue. So this was
I forgot that. Yeah.
This was before COVID. Yeah, this show was written well before COVID. So I was...
your consumption's gone down, hasn't it, Carla?
Yeah, well... Yep, yes it has. But now I've got a subscription to toilet paper.
Who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap? Yeah, so I've got a subscription, and they're a good company. It's all, recyclable and shit. So
toilets in countries that don't have them.
Yes, so I feel good about, and maybe we should get them as a sponsor.
Oh, that's
is this a paid advertisement?
Because yes, we do. We love Who Gives a Crap, and they make our vulvas and buttholes feel very happy. So.
Giving that whap through the who gives a crap.
So, have you had any catches, consistent catches that people have given you feedback on, or have you collected some catches along your journey that has made you go, or made you learn a lesson, or made you go, fuck, I don't want that again?
Yes. Wow. Off the top of my head, that's a hard one. Each person that I've been with, like in a durational relationship, has been so unique, and so it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to think about that. I mean, I get in trouble most of the time for being too friendly.
Oh, fuck.
So the big gripe that I get is, because I'll like engage the cashiers at Woolworths in chit chat.
That's what I do.
Well
Yeah.
done you, so do I.
Yeah, but I think you're both a bit safer as people. I think I'm a little bit more of a wild card, as he walks up with a beard and like a box of, ramen noodles or whatever it is, being like, hey, how's your day going? What are you doing? Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, making terrible jokes. And then just being like, bye, boom, on my way. And like my girlfriend next to me is just like dying on the inside. Just like you can just see them just being like, oh, holy shit, here we go again. Like, they just wither. They just like wither as people being like, we just have to get through this. Like, so I think that can be testing for people that seek my companionship.
Oh.
Well, that's just you being lovely and giving of you.
Yeah. But like, imagine that happens every time you go out, like 10 plus times.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of similar, so I can't imagine it.
Yeah, I'm like, I do exactly the same.
Bloody performing artists. Am I right? Bloody
And then
performing artists.
I'm like, what's the problem? Because I do exactly the same thing.
Because you just think, well, they probably have people the cashiers particularly probably have people being grumpy and, sort of grunting at them or being on their phone while they're paying. We actually want to make their day a little bit better by engaging with them as a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, we are in agreement with you there.
Well, in that case, I'm perfect.
Yes. Okay. Good. Good.
So,
we've established that.
We all know that's not true. But yes, I can't. Unfortunately, off the top of my head, I don't have that. Just like
ready to grab at.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's
I'm
okay.
catchless.
Well, I think we've established that it's not your catch. It's actually the catch of the partner that they have to cover with the friendliess.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck those guys. No.
Yeah.
No, not true.
Fuck all.
Not true. Not true. I am I am actually in a very unusual position, which is like I don't actually hate any of my exes.
Well, that's nice.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So no bad feelings to them.
No juju. Yeah.
Good, only good.
Yeah, that's good. So, would you say, Callan, that you have entered all your relationships in the same manner? Do you notice a pattern within your behavior when meeting, dating, and are you the type of dude that will go, okay, once we get to this point in the relationship, whether it be time or whatever, we have to have the conversation. So I'll make sure that I've locked this motherfucker down. What do you like?
The conversation. Look out. I'm like this, right? So
he's getting set up, people.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what happens. I meet someone. I'm like, you seem pretty cool. And so I'll like go up, have a chat, be like, do you want to get coffee? Like whatever, or I'll meet them circumstantially and we'll just like be friendly and we'll just be friends. We're just friends, right? And then I'm like, maybe we're sexy friends. And that...
Like that.
And so, it will like develop most often my relationships have developed from friendship.
That's nice.
Not every time, but yeah, most often it's like, hey, we're friends. You're fucking cool. I really like what you're doing. Do you like what I'm doing? I like what you're doing. Let's do a thing.
Sexy friends.
We'll kind of go, yeah, and then we'll take it from there, and kind of there'll be that period of just like the miasma of hormones and also no conversation, and you're just like, I'm not going to pressure this because I'm really cool and labels aren't cool anymore, and I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm chill. And then a couple of months in, you're going like, hey, I think I would like this to be something that we both know what it is, and that's the kind of standard timeline of being like meeting, friendship, sexy friends, into girlfriend, boyfriend.
I like that.
Hold my hand in public, like properly.
So you're a hand holder. A lot of dudes hate holding hands.
Idiots. Holding hands is the best thing in the world. It's great. What's wrong with holding hands?
I don't know. A lot of dudes hate it. From my experience, a lot of dudes are like, no, we don't do that.
Well, look, that gets into like, what's your love language, and how open are you around visibility of affection? As someone who went through dance school and has lived my life as a performing artist, all the world's a stage. So it's like, I could give what other people are necessarily thinking about me in the public space, which is good and bad. But yeah, it basically allows me to be quite free to feel like if I want to be affectionate with you, then I want to be affectionate with you. And that's
that's a beautiful thing.
I love that.
Yeah, very
well done.
And holding. Yeah. Often partners, not as much involved in that.
Really?
Not so keen. Yeah, hand holding fine, but they're just like, let's maybe not just like, let's just.
Not even like a peck. Are you talking about
that depends on the person. That depends on the person.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I guess it depends on the person, their love language, whether they're comfortable with being tactile and affectionate in public, or if they've had some experience in the past that's sort of tainted that.
And often people have, had a very negative public experience that, makes them not want to engage in that. Oh, pardon me. Which I completely understand and respect. And that's like, I get that.
That's really good because I don't understand or respect it. So
like, if you don't want to hold my hand in public, like that's fine. But like, I do want to hold someone's hand in public. So this is probably not going to work out long term.
Correct.
They're probably just going to be sexy friends and then
that'll be it. Yes.
Whoosh, back into the miasma.
Yeah, exactly.
It establishes whether you're on the same page as well, because I know a relationship I had quite a number of years ago. This person and I are really good friends now, but we were probably two people that really shouldn't have gone out. And he was very funny about sort of being affectionate in public. And I guess the way that I responded to that was, don't you want anybody to know we're together?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Are you sort of wanting to keep your options open and present a single sort of profile to people who might happen to see us out together because we used to work in the same place?
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah, it's really interesting just hearing what you had to say about it, Callan, as well.
Yeah, but I also... I completely understand those feelings. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I often think it's not coming from that place, from people who aren't up for public affection. It's like, it's not about that. It's more about, they'd be like, no, like, this is my private life and my private life is private.
Yeah, which I now understand a lot better as an older person.
I think...
What, you got more secrets now? Huh?
No, I just think...
Yeah.
The cat's the name of my life. Simple,
I think
unconditional affection.
I think.
Thank you for agreeing.
I've lost my train of thought. That's all right. It's all good. Now I can't stop thinking about the
hand-holding.
Yeah.
Love languages.
It is a thing.
It's glorious. I bloody love it, and I haven't done it for a really long time because obviously I'm not going to hold the cat's paw and probably scratch my face off.
Hey,
It's such a beautiful.
as long as the cat consents.
Yes.
Oh, he knows. He's very loved.
Yeah, but it's like, for me, it's like, it could be a pinky, it could be index fingers. It doesn't have to be a whole hand. It doesn't have to be, you know, because often the height differentials don't quite work and your limbs are
Do
all
you know
in kind
what I
of.
love though? I love when a guy crooks his arm and you like wrap your hands around
It's really cool.
like the elbow crease. Fucking love that.
Yeah, it's really
Do you know what I'm
hopeless
talking
romantic.
about, Cullen?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's like classic old, like the old world banner goes across the top of the
I love
screen, and
that.
everyone's like walking around with top hats and like,
Thank
oh,
you.
well, welcome to Austinville. Yeah.
I love it. I don't know. There's something very sweet about the closeness of the bodies and the here's my arm, madam. I love that kind of shit.
It's really lovely.
Madam.
Madam. Do you have any deal breakers, Callan?
Deal breakers. What? Give me some lead in. What do you mean?
Okay, so I refuse to be in a relationship with somebody who is an addict of some sort, whether it be drugs, alcohol, gaming,
Sex.
plush toys, whatever it is,
Work.
kinks, whatever it is,
Yeah.
where their life is controlled by that substance or thing. Like I can't. I've been there before. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too exhausting.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. That's a great deal breaker. One for me, it's more, I think it's less deal breakers and more like if someone wasn't interested in the arts, that would never work.
Yes.
So that, I think that would be a bit of a deal breaker because I spend so much of my life going to theatre, going to shows, engaging in art and arts practice, that if they weren't interested at all, then it would just break down because we'd have nothing to or would have very little to share.
Yeah.
So that would be very difficult.
What if it's somebody, Callan, who is open to say they've never, because there's a lot in my age demographic or in our age demographic, there are a lot of dudes that I've come across that have never been to cabaret before, ever. So, and they're like, oh, but I'd be willing to go. I'm like, yeah, but really, would you? You've been on the planet for 40 something years and now all of a sudden you're willing to go. Like, I don't know how that. Yeah. I don't know how that would flow. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's like they don't have to be actively doing it now, but like they have to have an interest. It's like if I introduce it to them and they love it and then they get on board with it, perfect. Right. If I introduce it to them and they're like, yeah, this is fine, I'd be like,
yeah, no, see ya.
Fine's not quite enough. You know, fine's like I'll probably be going to the theatre like once every 2 weeks. Like,
yeah,
I want slightly above fine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm.
Little sidebar. Sorry to talk over you. Just while I think of it, in the relationships where people have taken an interest and have got on board with your dance background, your theatre love, and the arts. Do you find, or have you found, that the novelty wears off and a resentment or a jealousy has sort of ended up creeping in? I'm just curious from your perspective as a man in the performing arts.
Yeah, interesting. Not that I really remember. And I think partly for me, that's my very inclusive nature is it's like, I'm doing this thing, I want you to be involved, let's fucking go. You know, so there's that. You know, there's sometimes been a resentment around time. Like the amount of time that goes into art or time spent with other people socializing around art or you know, so that, or like time not spent with them on art, or you know, like there's been some different iterations of resentment around that. I think if that's what you're asking. But yeah, often when I'm with someone, I'm like, I'm going to this thing. I've got a +1. I want you to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm going to the whatever it is down the street with, say there's something at Rumpus, or there's something at Vital Statistics or whatever. I'm like, let's go. It's a Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. Let's
do it.
Get dressed. Let's do it.
I'm curious from my perspective, that's been an interesting thing that's had a pretty big impact in my life as a lady that's in the arts, as a musician, professional musician. And I was just curious to see if that comes up or has come up for you as a man in that position.
I think there has been a resentment in time, in terms of time, more than anything else. Like they don't resent the art, but they resent the time that it takes away from the unit.
A catch in my romantic life. Anyway, and even it was really surprising. Even my longest sort of on-off relationship was with a non-musician, but even with musicians, there was a bass player and a drummer, very, very far apart from each other, obviously. That it was
and then you picked up the guitarist, and then there was no guitarist. You got yourself a whole band. You know?
It was interesting because even that sort of snuck in there as maybe in the form of a professional jealousy, or we went to a gig.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting. I was interested to see if that had come up for you as a bit of a catch or a pattern.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I dated a dancer, or like someone who was in my same field.
Yeah.
And so that I did that very early on. I was in uni dancing all the time, dating dancers, and I was like, maybe that's not a good idea. And so then I was like, and dated people who are like arts adjacent. So people who were in costume, or people who were just loved it and loved showing up to it, or people who were doing circus, or just finding different different arts platforms.
It's interesting on this topic while you guys are talking about that. It brought back a memory that I had totally forgotten about. It was really interesting in a couple of my relationships, of which 2 out of 3 were not very affectionate dudes, right? They weren't super affectionate. But once I came off stage and I was in front of other people that had just seen me perform, they were very quick to grab me, hug me, kiss me, put their arm around me and claim, okay, guys, just so you know. And I'd always be like, why the fuck are you doing this? You never behave like this. You only behave like this after I've just performed in front of people, and then when I come out and talk to the audience or whatever, you're very quick to be like, you must go through me before you can talk to her. Like that used to be such a weird medium for me. And what do you think as a male? Can you unpack that for me, Callan? Because I always used to be gobsmacked with that.
Yeah, on behalf of all men.
Yes, because you have a penis, so you can speak on behalf of all of them.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. But I think I have a very unique experience as a man. So I can't speak for men. I can only speak for myself, and I can speak for like what emotions that would bring up in me, and the reason I would do something like that.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit about that archaic kind of weird thing around ownership. But it's also a little bit like, you were amazing. I think you're amazing. And I want to, from my perspective, I want to encourage you to be amazing. And I also want other people to know that we're amazing together. So,
yeah.
It's us. Sorry, I'm giving everyone the finger for those who are listening at home. It's like everyone can just like back up, because this is a solid unit. But also it's like, you've just come on stage, you're up on that high. It's like, I want to catch that high with you, because like that sounds awesome.
But I never felt that that's what it was about.
And I'm like here to like, welcome back, awesome, like you did a great job. Here's the affection. And that's what you're talking about, and what I think is a bit weird is that it's out of character. So it's like
Yes.
you're either supporting them and being like that all the time, but like if it's just coming from that place of like, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we're the unit, that kind of gets a little bit more like, hey, you don't actually own me.
Yes.
We're choosing to be together. And I know you want everyone here to know because I just was fantastic. And you're acknowledging that I was just fantastic, but you're doing it in a really weird way.
Yeah.
And revering you so that people can see it rather than,
Yeah.
you know, actually being like that all the time.
Yeah.
Supporting you and encouraging you.
Because really, in my mind, if the roles were reversed and my husband or whatever was on stage doing his thing, and then he came off stage and everyone wanted to talk to him, I'd let all the people talk to him and then wait.
Correct.
And then be like, babe, that was fucking sick. And I'd be my normal, enthusiastic, outrageous self. But I'd let the audience who came to pay to see that person get the privilege of going to talk to them afterwards, not give off the vibe of, okay, you've seen her on stage, now you can't touch her.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, even if you are number one coming off stage and like you get a quick kiss or a handhold or like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, it's about the flavor and the context that comes with that rather than the action itself. You know, so it's like, you know, coming off stage and greeting your partner straight away could be super cute. Everyone could be like, oh my God, that's so cute. I'm so on board. But yeah, it's about the flavor and the feeling that action gives you. And if that feeling is you're smothering me, then maybe that's not the action that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
Maybe that's not the action that's kind of wanted from either of you in that moment.
Yeah, correct. That's so true. So what helps you get through heartbreak, Callan? Do you have any techniques or tried tips that you can suggest?
Cry a lot.
Till 3 a.m.
I mean, I mentioned it right before we started. It's about acknowledging that it is similar to a death, and that grieving process, and acknowledging that you can allow that for yourself, and you're allowed to be sad, even if you made the right decision. You go, this was the right decision. We are not the right people to be together. Like, we're not going in the same direction. That doesn't mean it's not sad.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
And so my more adult and more learned process has been to allow myself to be sad and upset and go through the emotion, go through that, and not put it to the side and not be like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm fucking fine. Yeah, fuck her, fuck whatever. I'm cool. I'm chill. When really clearly you're not chill at all and you've got zero chill. So I'm really acknowledging that I have zero chill at the moment and doing that. So the context for the listeners is that I've just gone through a breakup, or I'm going through a breakup. We have broken up and now I'm sad. So that's kind of part of the context.
So in the past, what has, other than acknowledging where you are at in the process of the grieving process, what has helped you in the past get through and push onwards?
I mean, time heals all wounds. So do drugs and alcohol, but I don't advocate for those. I think, you know, former young me would have just gone out and gotten absolutely shit-faced. A bunch, because, you know, alcohol lowers your inhibitions. It means that, you know, when it is 3 o'clock in the morning, you've ordered 100 Jacks and, you know, you're sitting on the curb and on a high street weeping into your hamburger, you're allowed to do that because you're drunk.
Yes.
And that kind of gives you that permission. It gives you that permission to be emotional and ridiculous. And you're like, oh, I was just wasted. I was just drunk. Where instead of just being like, you know, where I'm kind of at now, which is like, hey, like, you're sad, you can just have a cup of tea and be sad outside. That's okay. Whereas before I would just fill it up with other stuff. So you just fill it up with things to do, people to catch up with, you know, places to be, all that kind of stuff. More training, just like, you know, fill up that void with other things.
Yeah.
Yes, if you give
Which I still do to a certain extent, which is like, okay, well, now that I have a lot more time, what do I want to do with that time? You've mentioned video games before. One of my coping mechanisms is using entertainment. So, binging a Netflix series, or, I've got a couple of mates of mine and we get together and play video games, and that just helps because it gives you a finite goal. It gives you immediate dopamine. It gives you, something that is concrete and actionable, and kind of consumes your whole brain to do when you're focusing on that task. And that just kind of takes away the pain for a little bit and maybe allows you to have that time and that space, so that when you come back to it, you're like, oh yeah, like I am sad, but I'm slightly less sad than I was. And then you kind of keep going on from there.
So before we leave the lovely listeners, Callan, do you have...
Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does.
It was a beautifully crafted answer.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom that you can give our lovely listeners?
The journey is the goal. So that's kind of what I would say. And that is true, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in yourself, whether that's with other people, whatever you're doing, whatever relationship looks like to you, whether that's poly, mono, hetero, whatever. The journey is the important bit. There is no such thing as a destination of happiness.
I love it.
Read books, listen to podcasts, open your mind, and work on yourself. And then that will help you be able to work with other people.
Oh, I love that, Callan.
Beautifully said.
Give yourself a toolkit. Make yourselves a beautiful collaborative work of art every single day.
Nice.
Fuck, I love you, Callan.
Yeah, you're awesome.
The best.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for spending...
Watch TED Talks. There are some great ones. There are some great ones about relationship building and all that kind of stuff. Work as collaborative works of art as a means for communication and love making. And love as a village is a great concept, I think, that you can check out. And they're even just small ideas that have influenced how I go about now forming relationships and maintaining relationships.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
There's some extra things you can watch and listen to, people. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, Callan. You are a fucking legend. Love you. Love your energy. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. Who knows? I may have got the fucking days wrong. Knowing me, that's probably...
Hey, like I said, what is time? It's coronavirus. What is time?
Exactly. Thanks for the good juju, Callan.
Have a good
Always
day,
here to
buddy.
bring the good juju.
Much love to you.
Peace.
The Bachelorette, with friends near and far, from heartache to catfish and sex toys. The Bachelorette and friends. See you next time, if you dare.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.